Yeah, please like and subscribe. This is Bang Bang Rahul. Yeah. Do you know what? I don't suppose it's lucky, really, or whatever. But all for my bird, yeah. Like um, being in Albany, meeting some of the people, gangsters, proper gangsters. I mean, I'm a gangster now, but then, well, not so much now. I mean, I've retired and all, but I went about them days. I wasn't a gangster. I was just coming into gangsterism really as such. Going into Albany prison, meeting proper people. I mean, you meet the Barry brothers, John and Parky Barry. They're proper gangsters, yeah. They was involved with the craze, and it's when you just sit in a cell with them, yeah, and they talk about craze, fuck the craze, this, that, they're only wankers and all this, that, and the other. And that's what they used to say, John and Parky Barry, about the craze, you know what I mean? But very, very powerful people at a scrapyard. Uh, Parky was short, very strong. John, short, just as strong, really. Trainer, used to train 7 days a week. Parky was the strongest one out of the two of them, but nice people. Go in the cell, always make you welcome. You know what I mean? Teas, coffees, anything you wanted. I mean, it was nice, mate. I mean, I met so many people in there. I mean, Frankie Clark, who got done with David Fraser when they done Khashoggi's Rolls Royce at the airport. I mean, all them people, you sit down and talk to them like mates, you know what I mean? And they just tell you all about the bits of work they've done and what this and what that and what happened with Khashoggi's Rolls Royce and the Ninja and all that. I mean, come on, when they start, you're sitting down, they're really interested in it, you know what I mean? And you're in for an armed robbery, but your armed robberies are nothing like theirs. Their ones, you know what I mean? When they done Khashoggi's Rolls Royce and they got rammed Khashoggi and the Ninja, with all these ninja things come out and all that, and the police had it marked the top of the motor, and it's crazy, you know what I mean? It's like it's proper films, them things to make, you know what I mean? And then you got Paul Seaborn. Everybody know Paul Seaborn. Paul Seaborn was a proper man, mate. Paul Seaborn, he was a proper old gangster, mate. Paul, a nice fella, very very dangerous man, Paul Seaborn, mate, in his day. A lot of people had a lot of respect for him. I met him, and a nice guy, mate. And Laurie Man, he had a bad leg. I don't know how it happened. I think it happened in the robbery. He's dodgy. His leg went a bit dodgy, or he got shot in the leg. I'm not quite sure. But Laurie Man, fantastic sportsman, mate. He had always hopping about. But mate, this geezer could play football. Fantastic cricketer, mate. You couldn't get a better cricketer than him, Laurie Man, mate. He was the business, mate. I like old Lowell. You can have a good conversation with Lowell. I liked him. He was not old with me. There was so many in Albany, mate. People, Tommy Green. I mean, Tommy Green got done with Joe Rouse. Tom, I don't think he'd done it then. I don't think Tommy done anything to do with Joe Rouse then. I think he'd be done with arm robbery Tommy at that time. But me and him used to train together. I remember running around Albany, and there was this screw, yeah. He was quite a good artist, you know what I mean? And I was really big, and I had great big calf muscles, massive calf muscles, and when I was to run, I was going, really puff and pant, you know what I mean? But going around the yard, Tommy Green would pass me, and he'd go, woo woo, woo woo, and I couldn't breathe properly, you know what I mean? Taking the mickey out of me. But after about, 4 months, 5 months, I was doing the same to Tommy. Woo woo, not going by him. I was really getting fit, but getting strong. And this screw done a big sketch of me. But I had it, I had it in my box. I don't know what I was done with it, but that'd be nice to put in my book. That'd be really, really good to put in my book, you know what I mean? Uh, Lowell Gibbons, anybody know Lowell Gibbons from Brixton? Laurie Gibbons, car dealer, big hair, big white hair, white and brown hair. Nice fella, Lowell, with glasses. He had a big car front. Nice guy. He was opposite my cell in Albany, in Seawing, Middlesbrough. A nice fella, mate. Proper diamond geezer. I mean, I liked old Lowell. Always muck about, always having a game with him, mate. And I liked him a lot, Lowell. And he told me lots of stories. It's the stories, isn't it? Like the stories you get when they talk to you about what they've done and this, that, and the other. It's fantastic, you know what I mean? And it's me telling my little stories. And it's always the same. I mean, there's people in there. I forget a lot of names. I forget a lot of names. I mean, Pat Adams. Like he was there. He was I think he was on the threes or the fours. Nice geezer, Pat. Nice geezer. I'm not saying it's because his name's Pat Adams, but he was a nice geezer. This is called him the antelope. He used to run around the yard like an antelope. He used to run really good. Pat. He was quite fit. Uh, every day he'd be around the yard, run around the yard, and in night times he'd go in the gym, and I'd train him. I'd do a little workout with him, show him how to do the arms and all that. Yeah, his arms were getting big, you know what I mean? And then, and Sam McCarthy. Sam McCarthy, nice geezer, mate, Sam. I mean, good fighter, Sam McCarthy, mate. I think it was a flyweight, I think. I'm not quite sure. People will let me know. Sam McCarthy, mate. Gentleman. Very hello. Talk very posh. Hello, Evan, how you? But a nice geezer. I remember when I was in D, I think it was D Wing, top security wing in Brixton. I was with him, Sam McCarthy, Frankie Fellas, Brian Turner, Jimmy Wilkinson. There's loads in there, loads, and I was in that double K unit in there, only for what couple of months I think, and then the old Bill tried to set me up, fit me up, and they let me go in the end. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're all good people. Good people. I mean, Lol Gibbons, not Lol Gibbons. What was his name? Anyway, Peter Kelly. I mean, do you know what, mate? When Peter Kelly, mate, he's dead now. Rest in peace, Peter Kelly. Me and him was right pals. Me and him was right, but good-looking guy. Had a little scar here, I think. I can't remember. I said he had a big scar down his face, but I forgot he had a little scar here and down there. Geezer's a gentleman, mate. White nice geezer, powerful, mate. I used to see him do benches. He used to bench stupid weights, collar to collar, Olympic bars, collar to collar, and he was so powerful, mate, so strong. And he was a nice geezer. Always looked after me, mate. Always give me t-shirts. He loved doing rice puddings. He had a thing about rice puddings and carnation milk. You used to see him every day on the stove, yeah, with carnation milk and rice pudding. He's mad on that, you know what I mean? But he's a nice geezer. There was a few people that got nicked with Frankie Clark. I think David Fraser. I'm not quite sure David Fraser was there. I'm not quite sure. I know David Fraser was in Chelmsford Prison, but I don't know about Albany. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he was. Chris McCormack. I think he got nicked with that lot. I'm not quite sure. He's a dangerous man. Chris McCormack can have a right fight, mate. He don't muck about, mate. He's very dangerous at what he does. Chris McCormack, old man's up to him. There was also, I never met him. Never met Chris McCormack. A lot of people was talking about him, saying that me and Chris had often really met him, but why? What? But he was a nice guy, Chris McCormack. You know what I mean? Is what they talk about him, and a proper powerful, hard man. Can have a right fight, Chris McCormack. Yeah, respect him, mate. If you're watching this, I respect you, mate. And there was like, who was it? Who's the one? George Davis. George Davis, he was funny, George Davis. He never stopped crying, George Davis. He never stopped crying about, being innocent and all that. And, everyone, I mean, they dug up Lord's ground, didn't they? They put every bridge in London, George Davis is innocent. And when he got, everybody stood by him. He got out of the pill. What did he do? Straight back to the armed robberies. George Davis, mate, he was so guilty, mate. He was a nice fella, George. I like George. Laurie, as another lorry man. There was two lorry mans. Nice people, mate. The other long. Who else was there? There was. Fraser wasn't there. Fraser was in Chelmsford with me. There was so many. Listen, there was so many faces in Albany. I even forget their names now. There's so many in there. I mean. That time, they got. I mean, I was taught there was a screw, yeah, on my podcast, saying that he was in Albany when I was there. He remembers me. It's a joke, isn't it? You know what I mean? He remembers me on the middle land on Sea Wing, middle spur on Sea Wing. He said I was in the kitchen. He remembers me. I was asking him a few questions, but I thought, nah, don't get into that, It's enough in my book about all that asking questions. But he seems like a nice guy. He remembers me in Brixton in 1990. He says he got moved there. You know, it's a funny old world, isn't it? And you know, but Albany was a good prison. Albany was a good prison. I mean, I know they don't know he was like right out of hand. You know what I mean? I didn't deserve that, but Albany was a good prison. I mean, the best prison I've ever been to was Chelmsford Prison. Yeah, I mean, I liked, you know, I mean, across the way from me in Chelmsford Prison was a guy called Mickey Green. I mean, everybody knows Mickey Green, big drug dealer, died in America. You know, got a big bit of bird in America for drugs, this and the other. I used to sit down with him and Tony Edlin, my mate's dad, Tony Edlin, Rocky Edlin's dad, and I was just sitting in the cell, yeah, and Mickey Green, mate, nice guy, telling you all the ins and outs. He was with the cartel, the Mexican cartel, and all that, and you know, and you learn so much from him. You know what I mean? I remember seeing Mickey Green in the club. He owned a club in Harrow, and I used to go down the club, and there was a lot of faces in there. All the Wembley lot, all that lot, Bertie Smalls, Jimmy Wilkinson, loads. I mean, do you know names? I'm really bad on names, yeah, but loads. Everybody from the Wilkinson lot, the Wembley lot was all there, and always Dave Delaney. I mean, everybody was there, yeah. And you know, like you go back all them years and you think, God, the amount of people that I've met, you know what I mean? But Chelmsford was the place. I mean, when you used to sit down and I talk to what's the name? Tony Edlin, my mate's dad. I didn't know he was my mate's dad at that time, but a nice guy, glasses, vicious man, mate. I think he was involved with the Wembley lot, I'm not quite sure. Mickey Green took him under his collar. Mickey Green every day was buying steaks and lamb chops and lamb legs and everything out of the kitchen from Jimmy Tibbs. And he was always cooking. Every day they cooked, you know, big meals, you know, make you hungry, you know what I mean? But I was in the kitchen, didn't need no food. I was always in the kitchen, I was always eating, so what's the point, you know what I mean? You got Big Jimmy Tibbet, you know, Big Jimmy Tibbs, he was massive, mate. He must be 6'4", 6'5", Jim. He must have been at least 19, 20 stone. Big man. He had hands twice as big as mine. Massive, great, big, fat wrists, yeah. And he was in the butcher's, always cutting up the meat. And when he used to go out, when he used to slip out, yeah, because I was in the washes up at first. You do when you go in the kitchen washing up, but it's next to the butcher's, yeah. So when he used to get out, I was to try and get a lot of the fridge out. And when I was to try and go out, I try and get in there and nick a bit of meat for myself. You know what I mean? But Jimmy Tibbs, mate, had it good in there. He had it very good. I mean, he didn't need nothing. He didn't need for nothing. You know, you sit in the cells. Jimmy Tibbs didn't say too much. I've got to say that. Jimmy Tibbsy didn't say too much. Even his son Jim never said too much. Very quiet, very powerful, very dangerous people. You know, I mean, Jimmy Tibbet, young Jimmy, he's a born again Christian now. But he was a very powerful, dangerous man. Good boxer, mate. Jim. I used to see him sparring, see him shadowboxing on the ones downstairs on the ground floor, and see him outside shadowboxing. Good for a couple of times he's played rugby, but he didn't last year. Different game, innit, rugby, you know what I mean? He's a proper hard man. Listen, when I was 2 cells from Frankie Frazer, two cells, and the name Frankie Frazer goes. I mean, who doesn't know Frankie Frazer? You know, I mean, it's Foreman, isn't it? You know, like who doesn't know Foreman? You know what I mean? But everybody knows Frankie Frazer. Same thing. Freddie Foreman. Who don't know Freddie Foreman? You know what I mean? He's big gangster. Good fighter, Freddie Foreman. Can have a right fight. You know what I mean? Respect to him. You know, his boy was from that. Jamie, I know Jamie. He was from that. His boy, but Freddie can have a right fight. But Frankie Frazer. I mean, I remember Frankie Frazer. You know, you sit down with Frank. You know, he never said too much because he didn't have to say too much. But he was dangerous. He couldn't fight. He wasn't a guy who could hold his hands. He could have a fight. Come on. I mean, everybody can have a fight, but I'm about dangerously fight, yeah, I mean. But he was, he gave him anything a weapon, mate. He was in trouble, Frank. You know, he never knew it was going to come. He never knew. He was one of them guys who's got a ninja. He'd hide, and then apparently he'd hide in a bin or whatever and come out and stab you to death, mate. Very powerful man, Frank Fraser. He's powerful not in stature, powerful in his way he talks. And Frank, when he talked, mate, he was very educated, very, very educated, and he never ever, he never run people down as such, yeah. And he never wasn't big-headed about bits of work he'd done. He wasn't big-headed about people's teeth he pulled out. You know, he says, "Nah, I didn't know that pulling teeth out. That was all pie in the sky. People made it all up. He did it because you know, like as I said before, they get in the cell, they have a few drinks with Ronnie Bender and a couple of cigars, and they're all chatting there, and it's like, well, it's like being in the pub, isn't it? They're all sitting there drinking, they're all telling their tales. And I remember I didn't used to drink. I was going there for a chat, sit down, listen to their talking. And you get old Frank saying, yeah, we're pulling people's teeth out with the pliers, this, that, yeah. He says, don't behave yourself, you'll be the next one. You know what I mean? He didn't care. He's just a nice guy. I liked him a lot, Frank. He was a diamond. But sometimes he ruined it for himself, really. He loved football. I mean, he had a bad leg, but he tried to play football. I see him in the field. He'd always try. He's had a couple of games, but obviously he can't play with his bad leg and all that, you know. But I remember one time they was doing the toilets up on the ones, doing all the toilets up, and we just won the football or something. His team just won outside Chelsea. I don't know what he played, who his football team was, but he come back and smashed the corrugated sheets that was hiding in the toilet whilst I was in there. He smashed it to pieces, mate, with a broom, and a big heavy broom, yard broom. Yeah, smashed it to pieces. Well, that was it. The screws went. No, I can't handle that no more. You know what I mean? That's him, finished, mate. And one morning, we had in the kitchen, we had a big well screw, yeah, massive big well screw, and he was one of the heavies in there. He was not a nice guy. He was not a nice guy, mate. You know, and but you know, he works in the kitchen. When he was on, he didn't nick nothing because he'd always get it. You know what I mean? But like others would let you go because they knew, you know, we're cons, you know, we'd let you go. But he wouldn't let you go. He'd find it and all this, that, you know, he was a right noble person, really. But I remember them coming in there and taking him out, and on out in the kitchen. Sometimes you had a bit of luck, you could get out the door. You know what I mean? You couldn't go nowhere because down the end it's a wing, but it's a wing that's not being used. It's only used for films and all that. Honestly, for films, yeah. It's just one wing. It's never been used. B wing, I think. I'm not quite sure what the wing was, but it was never used. Yeah, D wing, B wing. I'm not quite sure. Never ever used. It was all derelict in there, and but they used to walk up there to the kitchen. But sometimes they used to leave the door open, but the gate at the end would be shut by the centre. Yeah. So I remember like we'll hear a bit of noise, a bit of shouting and screaming, you know, and walked down there, and it was Frankie Fraser. They was walking him out, yeah. But I've got to say it, he wasn't in any trouble. He just walked because, come on, how many times has this happened to him? How many times been shipped out? He's been shipped out about 20 nicks, 20 prisoners, you know what I mean? He don't stand, they don't have him for very long. You know, no prison have him for very long, Frank. He won't last, you know, he just goes crazy, you know, and does silly things. But I thought he'd have stayed there because I think David was there and Patrick. I'm not quite sure now, I can't really remember. If David was there and Patrick, but I think one of them was there anyway, it might have been David. It was a shame. It was a shame because they're dead, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I like this is the way he talks. You could sit and talk to him for hours, you know. Not, you know, just didn't say too much, but what he said was enough. You could sit there for hours, now and again he'd have a chat to you and do this and say this, and you learnt so much from him, what he's done all his life. Fantastic, mate. Fantastic, the things he's done, and I'm one of the people that know lots of what went on. And that, I mean, John Duddy. Look at John Duddy. I mean, John Duddy was one of the ones that got done with the when they shot them 3 police officers in Shepherd's Bush. You know, I mean, John Duddy, mate. You know, to see John Duddy, mate, it was a shame to go on a visit with John Duddy and see him with his two girls, his 2 daughters. You know, I was there, what, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And you see his daughters growing up all the time. It must be terrible for John to do all that big bit of bird he got. I know he got a lot of bird, mate. I mean, you know, and you know, and then all of a sudden one day he was gone. He was shipped out and he'd gone. Yeah, he'd gone to another prison. It was a shame he died in prison, I believe. He died in prison, John. But he was a nice guy. You know, I mean, come on, look. People say they shot 3 police officers, but after X amount of time, mate, after 20 years or whatever, come on, that's enough. You know what I mean? You know, all right, he shot 3 police officers. So, all right, they're police officers. They've got a job to do. They get shot. It's not. I mean, what can you do about it? I know it's one of them things, isn't it? I mean, they're there to prevent crime, and if they're around you, around people at that time who have got guns and they want to get away, mate, they're going to shoot you. So you know that's part of the job. And you know, and John Dudley done what he done, and got a lot of birth for it. You know what I mean? I'm not quite sure the judge. I'm not quite sure it's Judge Denning. Judge Denning was the bad judge at that time. It might have been Judge Denning. I'm not quite sure, but I mean, you know, like John, you could see in his face, you know, like he'd gone through a lot, mate. He'd gone through a lot, you know, and you've got to remember the police officers they shot. So all that lot, A. Roberts as well, what they went through, you know, what they went through when they caught them, they must have really obliged them, you know what I mean? And Harry Roberts could have a right fight, all accounts. He weren't no fool, mate. He weren't no fool. You know, but that's life. That's what happens, you know. And he got out. He's out on the street now. He's walking about. He's getting on with his life. It must be hard after such a long time in prison. But I mean, when you think about it, John Dudley told me about what he said about the craze. He said that the craze will complete that arseholes, and you know, John Dudley and Harry Roberts, they was going to have a go at the craze. They was going to bash them up, all accounts. But I'm only telling you what was told. I believe that Harry Roberts was the governor. They reckon he could have a right fight, Harry Roberts. I mean, more people know about it than I do, because I was never, well, I was, but only like in and out job, you know what I mean? To sort of see him and then gone, and that's it. When they moved them sort of people, mate, they got, you know, most of them on the book, double A cats or A cats. You can't really talk to them. They've got 2 or 3 screws, maybe 4 screws up around them, and they got a book. And they just go everywhere, and wherever they go, they sign a book, they sign this, sign that, everywhere they go. So you don't get time to talk to them. You might see them, and that's about it, you know what I mean? Shout, what are they? And all that, and that's it. But John Dudley, he was off the book in Chelmsford. But, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame, but what it is. It's what it is, mate. There's plenty of people doing plenty of bird for silly things, yeah? For silly things, and that's what it is. But there's a lot of nice guys. I mean, Tony Lawrence. I mean, come on. Tony Lawrence was one dangerous man. He's the most dangerous man that I've ever met, Tony Lawrence. You know, I mean, I've met some people, but he is the most dangerous man I've ever seen, Tony Lawrence. I mean, I remember being in Chelmsford prison with him and Frankie Frazer, didn't get on at all. I think Tony Lawrence was telling me, I think Frank was also involved with the craze. Seeing the craze, and Tony Lawrence didn't like that. Tony Lawrence was a bad man, dangerous man, glasses, big man. Think he was nothing, but he was proper, mate. He was proper. He got shot 5 or 6 times in the head, and survived by the Sullivans. You know, the big thing about that. I mean, I used to sit down in Tony Lawrence's cell and have coffee, tea, and talk about lots of things with Tony about what happened. And the scrap yards and all that yet, and this, that, and the other, Richardson's and all that with him and all that. And, you know, Tony Lawrence was a bad man, mate. He was a dangerous man. He was a businessman. He loved money. We all love money, but he loved money more than most. He was telling me about loads of things. And one of them people that when I got out of prison, I went to see him, yeah. I went to his place in Fulham, and his place was like an armory. He had more guns on the walls and knives and bayonets like you've never seen in your life. It was like going to an armory, swear on my life. It was covered with things. But Tony Lawrence, mate, was a dangerous, dangerous man. I respect his Stephen and Tony, Tony the daughter and Stephen the son. I respect him a lot, you know. I haven't seen him since that time. I think his wife was called Reenie. I'm not quite sure. Is it Reenie? I'm not quite sure now, but beautiful woman, mate. Beautiful, beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Tony Lawrence was married, and she was a good girl to Tony, mate. She waited all that time for him, mate. She was a good girl, mate. She waited about 19, 17, 18 years for Tony. You know, that's a good woman, mate. You know, doesn't matter what she was doing, she still waited for her old man to come out of prison, mate. She's still there. Didn't make it hard for him. You know, there's not many of them about, you know what I mean? But anyway, look, just I've got lots of people to talk about, yeah. But you know, just don't want to go too much into it because it becomes boring after a while. So it's just Bang Bang Rail. Please like and subscribe my channel, yeah. And thanks very much for all you've done. And don't forget Matt Legg. Please check his channel out, Matt Legg, and also my mucker. My mucker. How can he be my mucker? I forget his name. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. Joe Smith, you know, Joe Smith the Traveller. He's got a good channel. He's just started, but he's got a good channel. He's trying. You know, I'd love to do promotion with him, Matt Legg, boxing promotions, and to see if we can get something going. And anyway, please push the like button and subscribe, and have a nice day, yeah. And take care. Bye bye.